Pack a Punch, the very unique way we've been upgrading our Terraria weapons for our current playthrough, which if you didn't know, enhances things like damage, fire rate, and most significantly mana cost. Now, with us previously continuing our pre-Hardmode journey by defeating Skeletron, getting our most OP weapon upgrades yet, and finally defeating the Wall of Flesh, we had exciting times ahead of us, with many Hardmode upgrades suddenly on the cards. And so, without further ado, let's dive straight back into it. Guys, nearly less than 14k to go. Ooh. Continuing from last time, we of course had our war spoils to enjoy, which if I'm honest, couldn't have been less what we were looking for. This didn't really matter though, as for what I had planned, our overclocked pre-Hardmode weapons would probably be more than strong enough already, as after looking for our upgradable weapon list of wonders,
ooh, Divine Judgment,
I was certain that something like an upgraded Sky Fracture would give us the firepower we need, hopefully for a very long time. So, let's get the ball rolling, I guess.
I think we go get the Sky Fracture, chaps.
As although the Sky Fracture would be relatively easy to make, we still had generic early Hardmode festivities to crack on with first, which after destroying our Crimson of Altars, nicely gave us the best possible Hardmode or combo.
Titanium, look at that, guys.
That's so nice to see, man. So, I suppose it was time to get down there and start working towards, at the very least, full Titanium armor before we fought our next boss, which while doing so, did truly show me just how insane our pre-Hardmode upgrades actually were, as I was having absolutely no trouble taking out tanky Hardmode enemies with our Necrovision book. However, it was obvious that this wouldn't be viable forever.
Oh yeah, we need this upgrade.
And although getting the ingredients for our previously planned Sky Fracture would be simple-ish, getting the now increased Platinum coin required for the upgrade would be more of a concern, as we were kind of poor.
How much we got in here? None. We've got 38 gold.
So it was about time we built ourselves a nice little layer farm. Oh yeah, my favourite. And yeah, you may deem this slightly unnecessary, but when you think about how many upgrades we might go through this playthrough, having a steady source of income at this point would be crucial. And so with steady construction now underway...
Oh, it's an underground hallowed thingy. Oh, and we got that handbat on the first kill.
Weirdly in between an underground ice hallowed. All we needed were a few mimics from this farm for our financial situation to be rejuvenated. Oh, and yeah, to say this was a bodged job would be an understatement, as well, this was the most function-overlooked farm I think I've ever built.
Alright, farm. It's so ugly. What is that?
Anyway, after finally getting our wizard appointed to our council housing, which was desperately needed at this point, the money started to properly roll in.
47 gold? Flipping hell.
And gave us plenty to pay for our next weapon upgrade. Well, assuming we actually get our money back.
Give me it.
Which, funny enough, was only our second concern at this point, because in case you missed it, a cheeky mech worm decided to create some vibrations from deep below. Ew. And just like that, genuinely gave me a shock to see once I was back on the surface. And well, yeah.
When did that happen? I missed that message completely.
Let's just say we weren't going to be winning this one. But don't you worry, because soon it'd be a completely different story, as I had some seriously exciting plans after we obtained the Sky Fracture, which, speaking of, we were very close to obtaining. All we had to do was create a hallowed desert, because our world didn't have any sadly, to farm ourselves some light shards, which for normal people wouldn't usually take too long. But in typical sockrteez luck, we had to casually remove 2 entire meteorites, which decided to land in our only large desert.
Dude, what are the chances of that?
Anyway, once getting that sorted, it really wasn't long before we had 2 light shards in hand.
Yes!
And with plenty of swords of light already obtained from our farm, and just like that, the Sky Fracture was in hand, and immediately upgraded into the so-called Divine Judgment. Sweet. But guess what? Although we had just sacrificed a load of time to get this thing, I didn't actually plan to defeat any mech bosses with it, but in fact I was going to use it to help us obtain a particular mount for a particular reason. Before that, though,
There we
our
go.
mobility was
Okay.
utter garbage. So let's quickly head to space and farm some wyverns and harpies, which still till this day, our pre-hard mode Hell's Lawnmower was still packing a punch. Wait, is that another pun again? Okay. If you hadn't guessed by now, Queen Slime would be our next boss kill. Which after waiting a decade for more hallowed to spread, seriously, I spent half a set waiting for literal grass to grow. It was time to begin the fight. Which, yeah, I mean, normally the regular Skyrafter is a fantastic weapon choice for this large flying boss. So give it more damage, attack rate, and a ton less mana cost, and you've got yourself a winning weapon. Which really filled my hopes up for the next boss we'll be defeating with this thing. Because with Queen Slime now down,
Sweet. Man, that was probably genuinely the best Queen Slime fight I've had.
and luckily the mount we were just looking for in hand, it's about time I spilt the beans on what we were gonna do. Basically, I was feeling extra spicy today and fancied a pre-Mech Duke defeat.
Boo-doo, boo-doo. Boo-boo-doo-boo. Boo, boo, boo.
Oh yeah. So after quickly getting a truffle worm in hand, I got to work on a big old arena, which would be a key aspect of what will make this fight bearable. Because let me tell you, even with a better than vanilla upgraded weapon, this was not going to be an easy feat, as mobility was everything here. Luckily though, that was precisely why we went out our way to get the Queen Slime mount, as not only did this thing have the vertical speed to dodge Duke, but also freed up some accessory slots,
What the hell did I do?
which I could replace with more mage damage. Good stuff. So let's... wait a minute.
Tell you what I will do, because I can't see a knacking thing.
Okay, now I can actually see a damn thing. Let's give this our first attempt, and really get a feel of what our divine judgment can do. Starting off, I have to say things were just fantastic, because as someone who's used the Skyfracture frequently, it was utterly divine to be able to fire it so long before losing any damage. And that's not even mentioning the fact most of its stats were buffed from a base anyway. And well, as you can see, the true outcome of this fight relied on my ability to dodge and not really the weapon in hand. And with all things seemingly going well so far, I was optimistic we would get this pre-Mech Duke kill no problem. But then I remembered something. I was utter garbage at Duke's final stage, and even though I had remembered to equip a Shield of Cthulhu, still would require a level of skill I most definitely lacking. And well, yeah.
No!
Close call, but not quite on the first attempt. So I mean, let's just skip right ahead to when I did finally gain the competence to survive this final attack.
You know what, this one's been better than the last one already, like, this has just been flipping chill.
As let's be honest, the majority of this fight is pretty chill with this setup.
Oh!
Ah, there we have it folks. I think my first pre-Mech Duke kill this year, maybe. So the question now is, what would be carrying us up to Plantera and beyond? Honestly, I'd take anything but the bloody stuff. Yes! Honestly, couldn't have asked for anything better here.
Oh, yep. Oh, yep.
And you want to know the best part? With the amount of grinding and boss killing we've just done, we had plenty of stashed cash to get the upgrade immediately. So I mean, before even properly testing the regular boring Razorblade Typhoon, ew, let's bang that thing in the Pack-a-Punch machine and turn it up to 11, which hysterically seems to be turned up even past 11 with this weapon in particular. Like, what the actual hell is that damage buff? And come on, from 16 mana a shot to a measly 6. 6 mana. So I think it's safe to say we'd be pretty cozy for a long time with this thing. So let's pack and have some fun. Starting off with our criminally overdue mech bosses, who seriously would not be prepared for what was about to get them.
Oh no!
Because with the poor old destroyer summoned, he was going to be dead long before I could even regret not buffing up or expanding my arena. It simply just didn't matter thanks to this godlike weapon. So I guess why stop now? Because our Razorblade Hurricane was hungry for some eyes, in particular the twins, which while not effective as against the destroyer, was still melted in about 30 seconds.
Where's my flipping gelatine thing gone? Okay.
But I mean, come on, who's really surprised here?
Oh no! Skeletron Prime.
Because in a regular playthrough, this already breaks progression, so to be able to do this with a 25% damage buffed version was just blissful. And speaking of blissful, it was time to take down the entire trio, with Prime, funnily enough, posing the biggest threat out the three so far. Not to worry though, as like many other victims today, although I may have completely deserted any defensive stats and capabilities, that didn't matter at all, because as you know, the best defense is dealing with the threat long before it can even become an issue, which by the looks of things here, had worked an absolute charm. So I guess we're at quite a strange place now, which in many ways mirrors our money equals power playthrough, with a blitzkrieg of jungle bosses just around the corner. However, I have thought of a little side objective in respect to some old zombies challenges. Yes, why don't we just upgrade every weapon in the game before Moonlord? See you in the endgame, folks. So for the next part, get damn socks.